I am Nwachukwu Egbunike, author of Incantations, and I'm going to read 4 poems from this collection for this edition of the Poems I Love. The first is Ufie. The jarred tones in 17 voices peer, souls in 7 abominations, with flinging verses far off the coast. Ikperemeri rousing responses, fights through the haze, howls of flinching forests, knots of brazen hills. The passage was deft, fear comes to die, life gazes forth. Drums resound in concerting rhythms. Nweze, Ana. The surfing crew in haste reluctantly paves through the crowd, rowing the canoe across turmoil. The steering is possessed, flying forth and fumes, the calm of the sea. Duality is wretched, unity of one, fullness of one. Ufie resounds again with haste, strings of flashes in an instant. The journey just began. The second is a more triple junction communion, complementing light and sound, deep shadow, tender fragrance, shivering springs revives, union strands in ecstasy, shrill bells, loud silence. Time stops. Pulse mid-soul, cherubic sentinels freezes, braiding shy faces in wonder. Deity in mortal grandeur, gifted upwards, remains ungifted, gathers while scattering. More can more. And the third is entitled Incantations. Nnukwu mmụọ, supine in adoration, baskets of chants, exalted praises, bent in worship. Earth in awe, gaze on sending, igneous firmness withers, like jelly melts into purple stripes, constricted in constipated fumes, bend in worship. Branches of filaments, tiny gods, spirit messengers, flames pearl deep, guardians of ocean gates, elements of ionized universe, metallic alloys, incandescent plumes, bend in worship. Crimson-robed forebearers, blazing lilac lamps, charming chocolate roses, rough-palmed immaculate hearts, peasants, royalties, and crooks, bend in worship. Mmụọ ka mmụọ, okechi, dike n'ahịa, echeta obi esi ike, ngalaba isi nke omimi. Oke mmọnwụ na-eti onwe ya, onye nọ n'elu igwe ọgọdọ ya na-akpụ n'ala, eze nwa eze, oseburu ụwa nke ife niile. Patrem immesse majestis, verum etunicum filicum, sanctum paracleticum spiritum, triune deity. Then the last is withers. Surreal unbinding, stands alone, apart and amiss, chained to the typical despondency, naive, pretentious self-sufficiency, bordered to the sap, aching to sprout, blind, slime of hubris, vistas of illusions, ordering without interior, Ngalaba, disunited withers. Well, okay, I think basically, if you, for instance, I'm more or less speaking about the passage of a great one and how that gong, how that flute, traditional flute, was announced the passage of this great one. And of course, since I come from Onitsha and abiding by the river, Niger, and so on and so forth, that's how more or less the heralding of the journey. But now from the perspective of the one who has gone to being in tune with his ancestors. Also, the things of incantation itself is that there are gods and there are gods, and then there is a great God. And that's in the incantation, basically, it's more or less an offering of worship in this sense. Starting, of course, going from chants and exultant praises, but exultant praises now, not just from the natural one, but also something that has some theological precision to it, and ends up with the imagery, and of course I go down with the Igbo words and more or less praising of this great deity, and ends with Latin. And then withers basically is his voice of conscience, that anything that unity is what binds, disunited degenerates, we cease to exist. My name is Nwachukwu Egbunike, and these are the poems I love.